Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast, episode 39. If you would, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps us as we climb the podcast ladder. Also, where you can do that wherever you get your favorite podcast. And we are a part of the Podcast Playground Network. I always like to say that. It makes us sound so giant.
Well, it is a big deal. I mean, they have a bunch of shows, and we're proud to be in the barrel somewhere. Yeah, we're part of that network. So yes, we are. And we're one of the we're probably one of the senior show. Well, of course we're seniors, we're old guys, but I mean, we've been around a long time as far as Podcast Playground goes.
He had other podcasts that have joined the network, and they had more podcasts in the beginning before they joined the network.
Oh, that's cheating.
Yeah, so all those got uploaded too on the network.
Okay.
And we were, probably 6th or 7th. Yeah. And I think he's got about, 13 or 14 now.
So we were like, you're saying we were an 8 seed and we're having a great season too. So there you go. We'll talk about sports here in a moment, but yes, I hear you. So I am still coming to you live from an undisclosed location in the Blue Ridge Mountains of northern Georgia. And I've got all the technology straightened out since the last time we talked, so we should be good. But yeah, I'm here through Friday night, Saturday morning. So, going to be a couple more episodes of yours truly here. So it'll be awesome.
Any bears?
Have not seen bears. Have seen a lot of deer. And I think it's a beaver. I'm not, he's one of those little round squatty things. It was definitely not a raccoon. Because I know
it have a flat tail. Maybe it was either a big rat or if it didn't have a flat tail.
Well, if it was a big rat, it was the biggest rat I've ever seen. No, I'm gonna go with beaver or otter. No, it wasn't an otter. No, I've seen otters in Florida. So no, must have been a beaver. Must have been. And it was in a weird place. I was like in a parking lot downtown where I'm at, the little town, and he just came wandering across the parking lot. I'm like, dude, really? Watch out for yourself. It's crazy out there. So anyway, I almost got a picture, but didn't get the camera out fast enough.
Last episode, we made a couple predictions.
We did.
I was wrong on one of my predictions because I did say that the Lakers would win 1. And I also said probably Miami would close it out. Well, they did close it out, but it took them to game 7 to close it out.
I mean, as we record now, normally we record on a Monday, but because of the holiday, we gave ourselves the day off. And so we were able to watch game 7 of the Boston Celtics Miami Heat game last night, which would have been the Monday night. So now here it is Tuesday as we record this. You'll be hearing it on Wednesday, of course. But yeah, awesome. I mean, if you're a Heat fan, if you're a Boston fan, not so much. But so my question to you is, does the young coach for Boston, is he still got a job in a week or no?
It might be tough, but I think they give it. I don't know.
Okay.
I would be on the fence with that prediction.
You're on the fence with almost every prediction you make, though. So
but they want, you got to give somebody more than a year, but that team should have been primed to do it this year.
That's what I'm saying. He had all the talent. Well, not all the talent. Had a great roster. Seemed ready to rock. Didn't deliver the goods.
Well, I don't know. I think he could have coached better. They weren't making threes.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey guys, come here. Let's not go for threes. Let's try to go to the paint. Let's try to get clear shots. And let's get some points and try to, catch up instead of playing from behind.
So here's BJ and Bill, who know nothing about coaching basketball, totally tearing this poor guy up.
Well, put it this way. In my younger days, I coached a girls' softball team. They didn't win any games. I got fired right after the season.
Did you really?
Well, I didn't get fired, but
No, you didn't.
here's
get
what
fired,
happened. I don't even know where he is. It was a sales guy at a radio station I worked at WJCK. His name was Jim Hinneman.
Okay.
And he decided to coach a girls' softball team.
Okay.
Just before game one, as in the radio business, Jim happened to get a job in another market. I says, hey, you told me all I had to do was show up. I was going to be your assistant coach. And now you're leaving. I can't do this. But I ended up doing it. And all I can say is that I was so tired at the end of the year by being yelled at by parents,
right,
that they might as well fire me, after the third game, as much as they were disgruntled with my coaching.
Disgruntled. I love that. And that was how many years ago? I mean, that had to be what, 30 years?
Oh, that was probably, I'm going to guess 77, 78. So we're talking years ago.
Yeah. 40 years ago, 45. So my point is that was that long ago and the parents were still on your case. And nowadays it's 10 times worse. I mean, you hear about these parents going berserk at their kids' soccer / softball / baseball / any game, anywhere the kids are playing. So yeah, that's wow. So you had a perfect season is what you're saying.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Perfect season. Yeah. Didn't win a game. And whatever. Boy.
I wish I knew where Jim Hinneman was now, because I would still give him a piece of my mind.
Not that you have a lot to spare, but yes, I get it. That's awesome.
Hey, I'm not going to tell you who.
Uh-oh.
But we have a very, very special guest.
We do.
Both of us know.
Yes.
And actually, one of our listeners had suggested that we get this person as a guest.
Really? I didn't know it was a listener suggestion.
Oh, yes. I will say, Mr. Ace, we have your guest coming up in this podcast.
Nice. And I won't drop any name. We'll leave it as a surprise, but I will tell you this, that I'm pretty sure I worked and knew this guest before you did.
I'm pretty sure, because I've heard some of the stories, and I think you did.
Yeah. He predates BJ and Bill. So, oh yeah. So yeah, there'll be some stories. There'll be some good stories. So
and I want to know if he has the same story that I have when it comes to being hired at a particular radio station. Remember I told you the story a few episodes back?
Yes.
How much I love country music?
Yes.
We'll see if he remembers that story as I did.
I've never heard it from him. So, all right. I think we've given away enough. I think we've just shared too much, not too much, but stand by. In the second half of the program, we will have our special guest, and we're going to actually, if the stars line up properly, we're actually going to have a guest this week and next week, right?
Yes.
Or wow.
Yeah, and if we get this guest, because I always like to say, what do they always say that, scheduled to appear.
Schedule permitting. Yes.
We have a guest that's going to appear, and not only will you know him from Southwest Florida radio, but also television.
Wow.
That's all we'll give away on that guest.
Okay.
Quickly, before we do take a break, so we can get to our special guest today, what's your prediction when it comes to the Heat and the Denver Nuggets?
Wow. So the Nuggets are strong, tall, well-rested, and have been, I'm not going to say blowing out opponents, but it's been pretty one-sided.
And they really took care of
others.
I do believe the Lakers was a great team.
Right.
And they mowed them down in 4.
Easily.
But now I will say this, because this will happen a lot in the sport of basketball and even football.
Right.
When you take a long rest, sometimes that can hurt you as much as it can help you.
The cliche is rest versus rust. Do
Yes.
you get rusty? Do you lose some skills? I get it. And yeah, so they've been cooling their heels in the Mile High City, and now it's going to be time for the NBA Finals. I don't know. I'm going to be rooting for Miami 110%, of course,
So am I.
but I don't know. That's a tall.
I hate to say
order.
this. It's gonna. My prediction is it'll end in 4-5 at the most. It'll go 5 games at the most. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm now, having said that, Miami finds a way to win. They're scrappy. They like last night. Well, I forget the name of the kid, but there's somebody steps up in every game to be like, we didn't see that coming. And then, so anyway, we'll see. So we'll see what happens.
You want to hear my philosophy? Why they blew it out last night?
Why they blew it out? Yes.
I mean, how they came to the point they did to blow it out the other night.
And how's that?
I saw that buzzer beater a million times.
Yes.
And every time I would see it, don't show me that again. I don't want to see it.
That was from the previous game. That was game 6.
Yeah, the buzzer beater, and it irritated me.
Oh, it irritated a lot of people. Yes.
Now, I'm not a player.
Right.
I was never on the Heat.
No, that's.
But if it irritated me, it irritated them. And after seeing the replay, of course, maybe they got away from TV, because a lot of times I think in professional sports, you try to turn off the noise.
Right.
But you had to see it at least 2 or 3 times.
Oh, for sure.
Minimum. And I think that was why they blew it out and won the game like they did. They were tired of seeing that buzzer beater and that game, and I'm going to say it, stolen from them.
Ooh, stolen. Ooh, big words. I don't know about stolen, but it was a mental lapse that caused the Heat to lose, because they have a little bit of defense and they would have had that game won. Now, the coach, Eric Spoelstra, did say, or Jimmy Butler said it in the post-game interview, and then they tried to ask Spoelstra about it afterwards, because Butler said, oh, well, the coach played us some inspirational video that we watched, and that helped a lot. And he wouldn't say what it was.
That's what I think it was.
And then when Ernie Johnson was interviewing Spoelstra, he said, what was the video? And he didn't say what it was. So I'm thinking it could have been that video just on loop. Just it's like, do you want this to be how your season ends? I don't think so. So anyway, that was Spoelstra. I don't know. He doesn't get enough credit. I'm not saying he's a genius. He doesn't get enough credit. He is one of the great coaches in the game, and he's just making it happen. So good for them. All right. So there's that. Now, how about, look at South Florida? It is just like a sports, mecca here. So now Panthers, Golden Knights of Vegas, who you got? NHL, by the way, I'm talking NHL playoffs, or Stanley Cup.
Again, I'm going to go with the team I want to win, but
yeah,
I don't know. What's really weird, these Florida teams are shocking us.
Yes.
They're doing things we don't expect them to do.
Yes.
So I'm hoping both Florida teams continue to shock and do the unexpected.
They had that on, it might have been on Sports Center after the game last night, but they went through all the South Florida teams, like, Heat, Panthers, University of Miami, University of South. I mean, they just went through all these teams that were, just totally overperforming and all that. And I'm thinking, boy, you could have thrown the Tampa Bay Rays in there too, if you wanted to, with the best record in Major League Baseball, not in Miami, but I mean, Florida team. So anyway, it's a big Florida sports kind of a week. So yay. And
I should have looked at it before we went on the air.
What's that?
I think the Blades are maybe, last time I saw, they were leading that series 3-2 to go for the Kelly Cup.
Florida Everblades, minor league hockey. Awesome. Boy, look at that. It's awesome.
But I think I looked at that like 2 or 3 days ago. So,
okay.
I don't know.
Boy, we're just covering all kinds of sports here today, aren't we? That's just amazing, because we had the holiday weekend out there, and then you had your NASCAR over the weekend as well. and Indy 500.
You know, it's really sad when you have two of your favorite drivers take one another out.
Oh, is that I watched zero racing this weekend. So tell us the story and we'll, hash it out here.
I like, Elliott.
Right.
He's my man. I like Denny. He's my man. They kept bumping each other, and finally they bumped one too many times, and well, they both got put out of the race. Let's just say that. Weren't happy with each other after the race. Let's just say that.
Were words and or fists exchanged?
No, but words were exchanged.
Okay.
And I will say this though, Ryan Blaney, which I'm a fan. He's not one of my top tier drivers that I enjoy, but I like him. I guess he's in my top tier. Him and Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin. They're all, they're like, if they win, I'm kind of happy. So at least Ryan Blaney won the race. 600 miles.
Yeah. This was not the Indy, by the way. This was Charlotte, the NASCAR.
That's a long time to be in a car.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we should take a break because I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk to our special guest today.
Oh, I see. You want to get going with that?
I want to get going because I think he will bring a lot to the podcast today.
I'm sure you're right. Okay. Well, we're not, that doesn't matter how long we're going. We'll take a break here. And when we come back, we will have our special guest. So stand by for that. It's coming here to a podcast near you very soon.
Whoop, whoop.
And welcome back. I'm Bill Stevens. That's BJ Odom over there. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast. As always, if you'd like to get in touch, we would love to hear from you. You can email us at BJ and Bill podcast. Remember, as we always say, you got to spell out the and, BJ Bill podcast at gmail.com. And so many people are getting in touch on the Facebook page by the same name, BJ and Bill podcast. Just look us up on your handy dandy Facebook on your browser phone or iPad, right? There you go. He's here.
I'm so excited. I want to say that this guest was requested by a gentleman named Ace. And I said, yes, this is the guy we need. Hey, Marty.
Hi, how are you?
It's Party Marty Burger, everybody.
Yeah, oh, yay.
If you've been
hey,
in,
Ace,
if you have
thank you for the request, Ace. I remember Ace. When I think of Ace, I think of blue paint. He'll know what that means.
Yeah.
And now I want to ask you this first off, because we're going to get to your retired life and your job you have as a retired person from teaching. But my main question is, I think you knew Bill Stevens before you knew BJ Odom.
I did. Man, it goes all the way back to Estero, Florida.
Yes.
And we worked at a station called 96 Super Q.
Yes.
And my wife also knew Bill back in those days because she was on the radio. And her name was Carolyn on the radio. So, but yeah, that's going all the way back to 81, 82.
Wow. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I moved to Fort Myers, I think in 81 or 82, but yeah, you're right on. You're spot on with that. At that little, concrete cinder block radio station office way back in the woods in Estero, which is now, of course, super highway going past the front door. So yeah.
My gosh. Yeah, it was out there in the middle of nowhere.
And I lived in San Carlos Park, which was the middle of nowhere, and then could drive right around, and it took me 2 minutes to get to work. So yeah.
And I was I guess we all came to Southwest Florida at the same time then, because I was in Naples at WSGL, which back in those days was called Country 98. Wasn't even at the same frequency.
I remember that station too. Yeah.
So cool.
So what? Tell us a little history there, Mr. Berge, because you didn't stay in the radio business. For starters, we should say you are living the life in Phoenix, Arizona right now, which is pretty sweet.
No, I retired and I moved somewhere else.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were in, because I lived in Phoenix for 7 or 8 years. And then, well, I guess we better catch up on the whole story then. What's going on?
Well, good. I'll share with you. It was like I retired a year ago, and I moved from Phoenix, and we lived there for about 25, 26 years. And I moved down to an area called Oro Valley, which is close to Tucson.
Uh-huh.
And love it here. We came here because I got a granddaughter, and we wanted to be closer to the granddaughter who's 2. And so we moved down to this area, and we love it. I mean, gorgeous mountain views here. Go sit in the backyard, and every afternoon we just sit and watch the sun go down, like you should when you're retired. And we practice the saying around here: when the mountains turn pink, it's time for a drink. And that happens every afternoon.
Perfect.
So now your radio career, though, you went from 96 Super Q, which is now 96 K Rock, and you went up to Tampa for a little while, didn't you?
Yeah, I was at a station up there. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was called WHBO, which stood for, at that time, Hillsborough County. And it was a cool station. It was like a little house in Tampa. And it was like, what was it? It was like Elvis used to go to the house, and there used to be a program on Sunday morning called Speed Sport Roundup, which was a race car show. And I was not into race cars and driving or anything like that at all. And I just remember running the board for them once in a while. And all these top name racers back in the 80s were there. And I had no idea who they were. and you know what, right now it would be like, oh my God, like Dale Earnhardt, and I still don't know the old guy. Some Ned Jarrett or whatever would show up, but that was cool. But I was in Tampa it was about 2 years. And then I went back to Fort Myers and worked at Wink. And at Wink, that's where I met, I think, you, BJ.
Yeah, I think I was working at, I think I might have just left Wink at the time, or I was still there when you first got there. That's when they made all the changes. And I kind of got the boot to overnight, but instead of overnight, I went back down to Naples and worked at WRGI, which was a top 40 station at the time.
Yeah, I remember that. So, yeah, and I was there for quite a few years. I had a ball at Wink FM. That's where I got the name Party Marty, I think. Oh, I don't remember. It was a while back. No, I had a ball there, and but a lot of folks like C. David Bennett was the program director. I was a music director there, and who else was there? Oh my goodness,
was Chris Q there?
Chris Q was there. Chris Q, and I know we just lost him like a month or so ago. And great guy. He was over at B103 after he left there. Awesome. I was there, and then I was hired away from there to program a station called Joy, which eventually turned into Oldies 95.
Oh, so you were at Joy before it became Oldies 95 then? Yeah,
it was. I was hired by the. I think he was part of the ownership, Bud Polasek, I think his name was. And there was like a couple of us, like Kevin Pierce was hired, and I was hired. And that kind of turned the tides of Joy. We unplugged that and became Oldies 95. I remember we had this big research company come in, and they were deciding what format. And they says, well, there's 2 formats you could change to, either country or oldies. And we knew somebody else in town was also going to be going on the air. And that was in the same building as Oldies. And that was, I forgot what it was called. It was a country.
No, it was, I remember this because they had Rusty Walker. They hired Rusty Walker, and you guys tried to hire Rusty, but he went over to Cat Country.
That's right. So we knew somebody was going country. So that's right. So we went Oldies.
But I didn't know that at the time. Can you tell the story? Because I told this a few weeks ago. If you can remember it, tell Bill and the audience about my very first interview that I didn't get hired, and the reason why? Do you remember?
Well, I have a feeling there's one person's name that you hate. Cal Casey?
Huh?
Cal Casey, was that his name?
No, but it had nothing to do with that.
I don't remember.
Now, because I came in, Kevin Pierce, which had tried to hire me because I was over at the oldie station, DCQ, which was AM.
Right.
Kevin Pierce had tried to hire me over to 770, which was also at the time playing oldies, and it never worked out. And then he had the job, and I don't know if maybe he contacted me about coming to work at the radio station. And Bud was in the room, you were in the room, Kevin was in the room, and I put my biggest foot in my mouth ever. I said, man, okay, now he remembers the story. You can
He's
take
nodding
it from there.
Now he's nodding back there. folks. Yeah.
You said something about anything but oldies.
Yeah, I said, if I had to play Run Around Sue one more time, you can just shoot me in the head. I am ready to play country music. I love country music.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. It's like, okay, that's right. That's right. And there was somebody else that we were hiring as a part-time, Charlie Roberts. You remember Charlie Roberts? And
I don't, but yeah.
he was over at Wink. And I said, hey, we're programming a station. I can't tell you what format we're going. He says, I'll do any format except one. I don't want to do it. He didn't want to do oldies. And but he didn't tell me that. And then when he came over, it was like, well, we're going oldies. He went, oh, that's the only format I don't want to do. But he was a great guy. And he used to be a teacher. I mean, he's a great guy. He would be a good interview. But he used to teach at Brown's disc jockey school in like Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, I remember I was like, because see, the rumor was too that you were actually putting country music onto Cart. I'd heard that Marty Berger's been in there putting country music. He's putting it on Cart. They're getting all ready to go country. And so I went in there, just guns a-blazing, praising country music, talking up country music, and telling everybody in the room how much that I hated oldies.
you know what? I think we put the country music on there just to let some people think we were doing that, just so they wouldn't really know what we were doing. So,
well, thanks a lot. But I did eventually get the job, though. But it was like
it all worked
months
out
later.
That's the thing that amazes me about this, is that this is a radio station that everybody thought was going to be something else, and then it turned into Oldies 95, which it did, and was so doggone successful with all these people who thought anything but oldies. Good God. And it still worked.
It was a fun format. I mean, I love playing oldies. I still go to shows, and if somebody's like in town, I'll go see them, like the oldies guys and stuff. But it was a fun format. The audience was absolutely great. And they, like Ace. And then there's quite a few, like Bart Anderson was another one that just, remember him?
Oh yeah,
he and I are still Facebook buddies to this day. We still swap messages on Facebook. Yep.
Oh, he and his wife, great. And there was a guy, I think his name was Ron, but he had a beard. I remember him. He used to mow my lawn. But just a great group just a great fan base. The people that just love the music, and we did the Rock and Soul review concerts. Which was just absolutely awesome.
We did all of those. We did all of those shows at the 4th of July baseball games with the Fort Myers Miracle. I remember to this day, of course, that was before the days of iPhones and photos of everything. But I still to this day can say, yes, I was the guy who walked Ann Wilson onto the stage for her oldies concert that night.
Oh, okay. See, that was after I left. You did that one. I think
that was post.
We did some at the Miracle Stadium. It poured rain all day. It was just nasty, and it was like Peter Noon of Hermit's Hermits,
right?
And a nice guy, but we had all day that he sat around, and he did a little drinking that day, but that was cool. Oh my God, Ray Peterson was there. They Tell Laura I Love Her. We've done the Tokens. Joe Galanis used to do some shows at the Flashbacks that we were involved with. So, oh man, all these names I haven't heard in
All
years.
these names that are
I
coming
know,
back that
yeah.
you thought I had forgotten. So there you go.
Yeah.
So, but now bring us up to speed a little bit, because after the radio thing, you actually had a full career as a teacher.
Yeah, you know what I did? I went, my wife was offered a job in Phoenix with a big hospital group as a marketing director. So we said, okay, fine. So I came out here and I finished my degree. I got a bachelor's degree from ASU. And
Go
then
Sun Devils.
I got my teaching certificate. Then I went back to be to college and got my master's degree. And I did that in ed leadership to be a principal. And after I got into it, it's like, I don't want to be a principal. But yeah, you have to deal with all the problems. Had enough.
Didn't you do a little radio out there before you taught, or in between?
Nope.
Or
Nope, I haven't. No, you called me up one day when you were doing a morning show, and I was on the morning show like for like a few minutes one day. But
Right.
no, it was all teaching. I taught sixth grade. I started a love for history and ancient civilization. Let's see, and I taught that for a while, and fourth grade for a while, and I ended up in middle school. And but I enjoyed it. It was like about 26 years, 27 years.
Wow. A whole
so-
career.
Yeah. So I had two fun careers. This one was good because I get paid now for waking up every day with retirement.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But I love that, and I enjoyed working with kids and everything. And they were fun. I even I took just my love of communications. I got remember, you know, Brian Lee, he's in
Yes.
Fort Myers. He does all the voiceover work and everything. I had him produce some open and closes for a newscast, and I produced a newscast with the kids every day. So we would run it as the morning announcements, but we would run it like a real TV station. So it was great. It was we had sixth graders doing it like the first couple of years, and I mean, we were putting out a product that was like the district was like, wow, these are like, this is an elementary school, and we did this newscast every day. And then I took it to the middle school, and it was pretty slick. It's pretty slick, and they still. I left. It was a year ago, like last week that I retired, and they still continue using Brian's voice down there and everything that I kind of kicked off there, which kind of fun.
I remember Brian, when he first got into the business, he was working for Wink, and every weekend he would change everything on the processing.
Yes,
I don't know if it was C. David Bennett or who it was, but they would always get furious in it because they'd come in and everything would be off because he'd have to tweak it on the weekends. Now he's making multi-million-dollars doing all the Disney stuff and everything.
He's a talented guy, and he does all this voiceover work, and he sits at a studio in Fort Myers, and he will. We've had conversations. It's funny when we talk. We will talk on a phone for like 2 hours, and it's like once every couple of years. But he'll say that was the biggest mistake. He would hit himself on the head and say, you know what, I was a kid and I would do dumb things like that. But now he's a very talented guy. I mean, he's done a lot. He used to be the voice on CNN for a while. Back years ago, he did the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Wow.
But yeah, you watch commercials on TV, you hear him all the time. So talented guy. So yeah, so I teaching, I enjoyed it. I really did. But it was COVID really. Your daughter teaches, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's won everything from fourth to kindergarten. Now she's teaching first grade. I don't think, and of course I know kids today, and she even says I can never do junior high or high school.
Yeah, I could never do kindergarten, first or second, because they hug and they have runny noses.
and you're
Yeah,
sick
they
all the
like-
time, huh?
They like hugging, and I've never been a hugger, and but they like yeah, and you know, being a teacher, it's like I don't hug. It's like I don't want a lawsuit.
Mhm.
But yeah, COVID really made it hard. After the kids came back from COVID, like we used to teach using Zoom, and it was I never worked harder in my life. And teaching is a job. I mean, you work almost like 6-7 days a week, And, a lot of people, oh, teachers got a maid, you have summers off. Nah, you're working during the summer too. But once COVID came in and the rules changed and the kids changed and technology has hurt the profession because, kids would wear like the earbuds and hide them underneath their hoodies and everything. And you'd be sitting there talking and asking a kid a question. And it's like, whoop, take off your hat. Put your phone away.
They're listening to something else other than Mr. Burger, huh?
I was gonna say I don't wear earbuds, but I still do that. Huh? What'd you say?
Yeah, well, that's because you're old and you're lost, BJ. That's why.
Kids would be staring at their crotch and it's like, hey, put your phone away. Oh, I don't have my phone out. Oh, so what's so important you're looking at? Phones of the tech phones are great, but they really all these kids, even like second graders have them, and it just they don't know when to put them away. But anyways.
Yeah, here we are, just three old guys ranting about kids nowadays.
Boy,
who'd have thought that would ever happen?
But I love my grandkid, and I got another one coming in October, so that'll be cool.
Wow, good for you.
I'm going to set the Wayback Machine. Of course, most listeners that listen to radio, to you, some will know this because I know you talked about it. You were big into Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and my son was about the same age as your little brother or whatever with the big brother, Clay. You keep in contact with Clay or?
Absolutely. He was in the military for, in the Navy, and he retired after like 24 years and he's done awesome. And we talked, his son just graduated from high school about a week or so ago. So yeah, I still talk to him. Love the Big Brother program, and he lives, I think, in outside of Houston, I think. So he's in Texas.
Okay, yes. I think my son Gentry still maybe is Facebook friends with him, but yeah, they, because I knew you, and seems like they kind of gelled, and they had some really good times together back then.
Yeah, I remember that. We used to go fishing in Bokeelia.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's fun. And there was that restaurant on the end of Bokeelia, and they had great burgers.
Now, when's the last time you've been back to Southwest Florida, or do you have to go back?
My mom and dad lived in Punta Gorda, so every once in a while I would come back and see them. They have both passed. But I would drive into Punta Gorda, or not drive. I'd fly into Southwest and then drive up to Punta Gorda and hang with them. So that was like maybe 3 years ago was the last time. And I usually didn't see people because like my dad was ailing when I was going there. And so I usually just hung out with him. But it's been a while, and I still have great friends down there. It's like, I was there once. We went on a cruise. We have some folks that I know, Sherry Pate, and there was a young girl, her name was Rachel, and my daughter adopted from Korea, and she was adopted from Korea. So we still keep in contact with quite a few people down there too. I love the area. And like when the hurricane hit like Fort Myers Beach, I used to live out in Fort Myers Beach, and it was, I'm still like, I hope everybody's doing a little bit better and everybody's rebuilding, and things are going fine for that.
Yeah, I was there probably a month ago, and we drove down the main drag there in Fort Myers Beach. Before, you can only see businesses and condos. Let's say you saw a lot of the Gulf front. You could see not too many buildings.
Not much left. It's really sad, but they'll rebuild it. They'll bring it back.
I did see the house that I lived at on Fort Myers Beach from an aerial view. And it was still intact.
Wow.
But I think there were like some boats in the backyard that shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, there were boats in a lot of backyards and boats on a lot of beaches and stuff like that. That just insane stuff. So that's awesome.
Speaking of Fort Myers, I was there just a couple of weeks ago, actually. And just because I was saying, I wonder if he's still there, I turned it on Wave 101, which now isn't beautiful music. They're more of kind of a soft AC contemporary station.
Yeah.
And Paul Conrad, I heard his voice and I'm like, whoa, talk about the Wayback Machine.
He, I enjoyed working with him. He was funny.
When did you
Uh,
work with Paul Conrad? I thought I was the one. That's another one that predates BJ Odom and Bill.
It was.
When did you work with him?
He was the first morning team we had there. It
Where?
was at Oldies.
No.
And-
Yeah, it was him
Yeah.
and Lee Rose.
It was, yeah, exactly. Remember Lee Rose?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Bill, he's funny. But yeah, Paul and Lee did. They were the morning team there. And then after Lee left, it was Paul and Stacy. I've never heard anything what's happened to her, but yeah, he was there.
She's still writing, I think, a few articles for the news press. You're talking to, you're talking
No.
about
Was it
Davis.
Yeah. No, I know who that is. That's Stephanie.
Stephanie Davis.
Yeah, her name was Stacy.
All right. So wait a minute here. So we need to rewind the history books a little bit here, because I thought for sure that I was the first one to work with Paul Conrad at WRCC.
Yeah, you
because
did.
they hired me, WRCC, the ownership there, and I don't remember the name. They hired me away from 96 Super Q.
Okay.
And I thought they brought him in from out of town. He's from Buffalo. I
Right,
remember
he's
that.
from Buffalo. And
that's when he got to town.
he worked at RCC.
And he worked out. Yes, he and I were the morning at WRCC for a couple of years, maybe just 2 years. Had good success there. And so after that, okay, so that's how that works. Because after WRCC, I went to Phoenix, believe it or not.
Yeah,
And then he must have at that time come over to Oldies, right?
I think you're correct. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I was trying to make sure I had the timeline. Alternate universe kind of stuff here with different timelines. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, and that sounds about right. And he had this nice set of hair. And I saw a picture of him not too long ago, and it looked like he was bald, and it was like, good.
Well, that's like Dave Alexander. He always had the best looking set of hair too. And he's as bald as can be nowadays.
I know the folks at home can't see this, but I am running my hand through my luxurious and all still 100% my hair. Thank you very much.
Mine's
Mr.
getting
Berger,
pretty thin at the
Mr.
top.
Berger took his baseball hat off to show a little bit of a.
Oh,
thinning
I
at
didn't
the
see
top
that.
there, yes.
Oh man, I missed
Yes.
it.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, okay.
And then there's
No,
then
that's
there's
about the
BJ
same.
who
I
was-
used to
who was
have
doing the BJ doing the comb over thing in a big way.
Yeah, I used to have a forehead. Now I have more head. So. But yeah, he was. And oh, by the way, at one time when I was up in Punta Gorda a couple of years ago, I had lunch with Charlie Roberts. I talked about him a little while ago, and Dave Alexander. So it was that was kind of nice. He works for I think the Lee County School Department.
Dave does, yeah. And then he also
Everglades.
does the announcing at the Florida Everblades games, which is
Everblades,
which is
that's
doing
right.
quite well in the ECHL right now.
Yeah, he's that was nice to see him kind of thinning.
Not too much. Not too
He
much
was that guy
jealousy there.
that never had a hair out of place either. It just pissed you off so much. You were like, especially when I had like this real wavy, crappy hair, and never was a hair out of place on that man.
Nope,
Man.
nope. So I don't know,
All right.
but hey,
All right,
hey,
guys. I may have to take a screenshot of this Zoom to post on the Facebook page. I'm just telling you right now. Just saying.
that's okay.
All right. That's okay. There you go. Thank you. That's the good shot right there.
Well, good. I listen to a couple of your podcasts every once in a while. I do have like a new retirement job because my wife works out of the house, and
She's
like I'm
still
in my
working?
office right now.
She's
So,
still working.
What's that?
Your wife's still working?
Yeah, she works for the University of Arizona,
Oh,
and she really works for the College of Medicine, which is located up in downtown Phoenix. So every once in a while, she goes up to Phoenix. It's like an hour and a half away.
yep.
And so, yeah, she's still working. She's got about 2 more years left before she can retire.
Very cool. Very
See,
cool.
I got lucky. I retired young.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, insurance is I get that, which is kind of nice.
Good.
So that was a good thing about teaching.
I was going to say your wife really was the I don't know if it would be smartest or what of all of us. She had a good, solid, impressive corporate career.
She did.
Rather than hanging out in radio.
She worked for like the company down there was Gulf Coast Hospital,
Right.
Southwest Florida Regional Medical Center, and then she came over to Phoenix to do the same company.
Right.
But she's worked with American Express for quite a few years also.
Wow.
So
Good for her.
But now your part-time job, because you started to mention it before we went on the air, it's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's
You know
kind of
what?
cool.
I'm sitting around here. When I was teaching, I taught a careers class. And like Bill, you were in there one time talking
Yes.
to kids about entrepreneurship and because you run your own like
Yes.
computer
Yes.
company. And I had a guest one time, and he was the guy that sold me my house that I'm living in. And he used to be in the hospitality industry. And he came in to talk to the kids about that. And he was talking about, he worked at a lot of the Four Seasons hotels, and he worked at a high-end wellness spa here in the Tucson area called Miraval. And if you put Miraval like / Oprah, Oprah's been here. Oprah's talked about it a lot.
Right.
Ellen DeGeneres has been here and she's filmed. So do Miraval, Ellen DeGeneres, and you'll kind of see what it is. But it's a really high-end spa, and it's like $1,000 a night is like the cheapest rooms, and they go up. And I do tours. I walk around and show people where everything is, and when the guy came in and talked about about Miraval, I went, wow, that'd be a good retirement job. And one day I saw an ad online. I went, I'm gonna try it. And I work about 3 days a week, sometimes a little bit more, but I walk around and I give tours and or drive around. I do both.
Right.
And I love it because it gets you out and you just talk to people. A lot of people from Florida I meet again, and we talk about that. We have like celebrities that come in and like high tech people that come in.
Right.
And it's interesting, and everybody's happy. Nobody's like in a couple of people are grumpy because they might have gotten on an airplane like at 4 o'clock in the morning and finally got there in the afternoon. And they're a little grumpy, but it's really nice. I would do it for free. I'm not going to tell them that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a place where I've done meditation, and I'm really, really good at doing meditation bad. But there, they do something called like floating meditation, where you hang from a ceiling and they push you back and forth, and they give you some instructions like breathe in your nose, out your mouth,
Right.
and then they play the Tibetan singing bowls, and it's really peaceful. I
Right.
love it. And
So have
That's,
you given a tour to any celebrity or any big name that we would recognize?
Yeah, do
Yes.
some name dropping here.
I can't.
You can't.
Oh.
No.
What?
Huh?
You mean your contractual obligations won't let you give out any names?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of funny. Like I'll give a tour to somebody and I won't know who they are. They're from TV or something. And like after the tour, someone go, "Hey, did you know that's the lady from like the Gilmore Girls?" I went, "Oh no, the what?"
So TV stars, movie stars, that kind of thing.
Yeah, not too many music people.
Okay.
But it's and a lot of like one of the gentlemen that used to own the resort was the gentleman that started America Online, AOL.
Rick
Oh, wow.
Case.
Yes, Yeah.
Wow. Pull that name out of a hat. Wow.
very good. I was seeing it because I knew you'd get it. And
Thank you.
the nicest guy. I mean, I introduced myself and I was so impressed with him. Like 2 or 3 days later, I saw him again and it was like, "Hey, Marty, how are you?" And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
When you meet somebody like that. So there's a lot of folks like that you meet. And since
Oh,
he owned
nice.
it before, I think I could
What's
say that.
that?
But yeah, there's some good people.
I was going to hope you could drop names because I was going to ask you who was the biggest dick.
None.
He was a
I-
big
I-
dick. You could tell that because
I
That doesn't really matter.
Nobody
No,
there.
that wouldn't be nice.
No one. I've met lots of people when I worked in the radio business that were stars. And, like one of the nicest ones I ever sat down with was like Mick Jagger. And one that I wasn't too impressed with, and I wouldn't walk across the street to say hi, was like Whitney Houston. But she's no longer with us, so I don't want to talk bad about her.
Right.
So.
And you mentioned earlier that you did a concert with Peter Noon, Herman's Hermits. BJ and I had him on Oldies one morning, and he was the for us. I mean, maybe it was just because we were on the air. I don't know. Nice guy, great stories, funny stuff. I mean, really insightful stuff. And then I mean, that might have even been before Facebook or something, but he was doing something online. Maybe it was America Online or whatever one night. And I like got into his chat room and he's like, "Oh, hey, Bill. Hey, how's it going in Fort Myers?" kind of thing. So super nice guy. I remember.
I agree. Real nice guy. And just like he's a teenager that never grew up.
Right.
And he still performs out there.
He was just at Epcot.
Oh yeah,
really?
I saw that.
Epcot Center. Wow.
Yeah.
And most of these guys, I was just going to say, most of these guys make their money nowadays by, they'll sell their CDs or whatever after the show and stay and, autograph them for fans. So, just $20 bill after $20 bill. And he would stay hours after. I mean, BJ and I did a show with him at one of the Addison festivals downtown Fort Myers. He sat there for hours signing and talking to people, and just the nicest thing. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. He really, really was a friendly guy. And I see him on Facebook once in a while, and he's selling albums and everything.
Right.
But a wonderful guy. Somebody asked me not too long ago, who they can book, like maybe somebody from the 60s or 70s, that would be fun. And that's the first name I could think of.
Yeah.
We always loved having him on. He was just, like I said, we would hang out with him even, and he would just have story after story being, like 15 years old and touring, with the Rolling Stones and touring with the Beatles. Talk about stories that guy has.
Right. Well,
yeah.
If he hasn't written it yet, he has a great book soon to come out, I'm sure.
Oh, that would be true. That would, I would read that. I know some of the folks that we've worked down there. We worked with Joey D quite a bit because I know he lived in Clearwater. He's still performing, and I him on Facebook a couple days ago. There's some that we've lost, like Davy Jones, real nice guy.
One guy, yes.
Real nice guy. I sat at a bar with him one time, and we were just chit-chatting. Somebody came up, "Hey, I know you. He went into a great impression of Dudley Moore from Arthur. And this guy went, "Oh, yeah, you're in that." And the guy walked away thinking he met Dudley Moore. And it was Davy Jones of the Monkees. But yeah, we had him there for one of the oldie shows. We had Three Dog Night there. Had a great, two of the guys from Three Dog Night. We went up, I forgot the name. It used to be Steak and Ale. I forgot what it turned into after.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was ancient. Yeah.
Well, we went there with guys from Three Dog Night, and then George Harrison's sister joined us.
Wow.
And she just passed away. Her name was Lou Harrison. And she used to always, like we did the Ultimate Oldie shows, a couple of them. She would call up and say, ask for free tickets. And I always kind of going, tickets are $9.95. And she's calling up asking for free tickets. And this is George Harrison's sister. This doesn't make sense. But you know what? Sweetest lady. She did but she would come, and I remember when she and Peter Noon saw each other, it was like, "Oh my God." And it was fun. But yeah, she just passed away.
There you go.
Wonderful lady.
Terrific.
So, yeah, I still have like a poster hanging up on my back wall there with a bunch of one of the oldies concerts of the original art.
Right.
But, man, you got some guitars up there too. Did you ever pick, or is that just from radio?
What's that?
I see you got a couple guitars too. Did you ever pick, or are those just from radio?
That's from like radio. It's like it's some fun stuff, like something signed by Styx. Still a Styx fan.
Okay, cool.
Peter Frampton. Al Jardine goes on tour once in a while. I think he was down at Barbara B. Mann. He's a fun guy to see, of the Beach Boys. That was a group that some of
the only memorabilia that I have that I've lost a lot over the years, but I have a thank you note from Taylor Swift from coming to one of her early concerts. And boy, people
Wow.
see that and I go, I go, yeah, but I was in radio. I think she probably sent one to every radio guy that ever went to her shows early on.
She's a smart cookie. She really is. I mean, I've never seen her. If a song came on the radio, I probably wouldn't know it's her. But just her marketing and how she handles people, pretty impressive.
She is. It's like $1 billion business. It's just, she's got it dialed in. That's for sure. And same thing. I wouldn't know. I think I would recognize her if I passed her on the street because all I do is see her on Facebook and Instagram, like everything that's ever happened. But other than that, it's like, do I know the songs? No, not at all.
Yeah. No. I still listen to oldies.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a country boy. I've been a country. I was born a country boy. I'm probably going to die a country boy, but I made a pretty good living playing those oldies.
That's right.
Yep. I wouldn't change anything, and people like Ace out there.
There you go.
Well, plug him again there.
There you go.
That's awesome. If this guy ever comes to Donovan, Mellow Yellow.
Oh yeah.
If he ever comes, go. I mean, he looks like the Crypt Keeper. He's got really long hair. Great guy. I saw him in Phoenix a couple of years ago. But if he ever comes to like a small place, go see him. He sat and played his guitar and sat like on a little teeny stool, played for about 45 minutes, took an hour break because everybody needed to go to the bathroom because we're all old. But I loved him. Felix Cavaliere of the Rascals. He still sounds great today. Saw him not too long ago.
Terrific.
By the way, this is some trivia. I didn't know this until I saw Donovan in concert. You know the song Mellow Yellow?
Right.
You know what that's about?
Soft drink?
Soft drink. Yeah, no, that didn't come till years later.
He told us this, and it's like, I never knew this. It was about his girlfriend's vibrator.
Wow.
Electrical banana. and it's like, kids, that's just something that you put on your back to make your muscles feel better.
Yeah.
But I thought that was I never knew that.
I wouldn't have thought to ask, but thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I know. I just, since we're talking about Donovan, but he's definitely worth seeing.
I think I'll buy my wife a yellow one this week just to see if she has a Mellow Yellow.
Then you can play the song in the background.
Yeah.
See if that helps. BJ. See if that helps. Or, well, never mind. There's so many ways we could go with that, and none of them are really family friendly, so that's okay.
Well, good. So, no more radio. So it's like, I plan on just doing this tour stuff until whenever.
Okay.
But I will. I'm trying to get a little bit healthier. I will, and the tours. Let's see. One day, about 2 weeks ago, 28,000 steps one day. 27,000 steps. I worked 3 days in a row. 27,000 steps the other 2 days. So it was like, wow. I put miles on.
Hey.
Wow. Your Apple Watch is working overtime.
Yeah. Oh my God. And you know what? I see cool things. There's some things that are really neat to see. Like since it's in the desert,
right?
It's like I've seen you're walking. I came across like a rattlesnake, which was kind of a bummer. I've seen only one of them. Last Friday, it was a mother and 3 little baby bobcats were just about 10 feet away.
Nice.
We've got pigs here called javelina. They look like pigs, but they're part of the rodent family. They're hairy and they get a little aggressive.
Yep.
But I see some amazing things walking around, and it's neat. A lot of deer, and even like if you're out in the desert, you might even see a cow because there's like cows that just graze out there, and I don't know what they eat.
Wild cows or
what?
There's a wild cow then, or
no? You know what? It's like open grazing. I think there's a tax law out here in Arizona that if you let a cow graze on your property, you get a tax break or something.
Right.
I remember hearing something to that effect.
And I remember from Arizona, not in the city, not when I lived in Phoenix, but when you would drive like on the highway down to Tucson or on the highway to Las Vegas when you would drive. And in the middle of the night, I would stop along the highway, find a rest stop in the middle of nowhere, get out and look up at the most amazing sky at night in the desert. Unbelievable.
Yep. And what sets this area apart that I'm in now, Oro Valley, Tucson, from Phoenix, is there's on the mountains that are outside the door here, there's an observatory up on top that's run by the University of Arizona. And because of that, there's like a low lighting ordinance in Tucson. So you drive around here, there's no lights on the roads, and it's dark. You're not supposed to have these big glowing lights all around your property. So it makes for stargazing just fabulous. It's really nice. But driving home, like we went to a Foreigner concert a couple of weeks ago, and we're driving back home and I'm going, man, it's dark. I'm just like an old man complaining, man, it's dark. But you're right. But the stars are really pretty.
Yes. Very pretty.
Really
beautiful
nice.
Country. Beautiful country out there.
It is. I like it here. Miss the water, but we've got these big mountains around here that, and Florida's all flat. So,
Yes.
and it's just a nice change. So,
Are
but
you
you got
in
animals.
like BJ? Are you in? I'm saying like BJ. Are you in like a planned community kind of a thing, or a
No, I'm
old
not
folks
that old.
place or whatever? Huh?
Not that old.
I'm in one of these 55 plus communities where we play shuffleboard and all the fun things. No, we don't play
No.
shuffleboard anymore. Everybody does this stupid pickleball thing.
Pickleball.
Hey! You're talking about the sport I love here. Pickleball is life.
I haven't played it yet, but that's on my list to do.
Come
But
on,
no,
man.
I have young people that live in the neighborhood, and we've got a great neighborhood that we just all hang out and do things.
Awesome.
But no, it's not a 55 plus. I'm not ready for one of those yet. But we do have like a Sun City area down the road, but a Del Webb community.
Ooh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
we go there for lunch.
There you go. Mr. Odom
And-
has been in a 55 and older community since he was 39, I think. I don't know. It's just,
So we go to that lunch. We're the youngest people there, and it makes us feel good.
right.
I remember when I first moved to Florida, all of us really, we first moved to Florida, we're like, man alive, there's just so many old people here. And now I'm going, oh my God, I'm one of them.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. All right, boys, we're past our hour, but yeah, Mr. Odom, if you have anything left over for our fabulous guest here.
I would just say it was a pleasure working with you. Always a good
Yep.
time. And thanks for being our guest.
Yeah, well,
Right.
thank you. And for all the old folks that remember me, it's really, hey, always thank you. I had great memories from WOLZ, miss it. And and also, like, I got to plug Ruth Ray. Did you know? Yeah, you knew Ruth.
I knew
worked for her. I
Not
worked
that
for
well.
her.
What a lovely, one of the best bosses I had. One of the best ones, but she owned the jazz station there. And I loved it. I know the format kind of died away, but yeah, great memories from Fort Myers. And thanks a lot for inviting me here. It was, I had a ball.
Well, one of the
Awesome.
best bosses I ever had, of course, was this guy named Marty Berger. He was an awesome boss.
I could see
Yeah.
that. I could see that. Yeah. Well, thank you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. It's been awesome and fun. And as always, if you have your story that you'd like to share, whether it involves Marty Berger or not, feel free to visit our Facebook page, BJ and Bill Podcast on Facebook, or you can email us directly, bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com. Well, thank you, Mr. Marty Berger. We'll see you all next week. And until that time, it's just up to BJ Odom to say,
See ya.